when we talk business. Hello and welcome to Business Morning on the Breakfast Show here on BusinessDay Television, broadcasting to you live from our studio here in Lagos, the nation's commercial capital. I am Deborah Ezeh. Now let's begin with the top news stories making the round in the world of business. Nigeria's crude oil production slipped below its OPEC quota in August after 2 consecutive months of meeting the target, raising concerns about the country's ability to sustain improved output levels amid persistent operational challenges. According to reports, Nigeria pumped on an average of 1.434 million barrels per day in August, down from 1.507 million barrels per day in July. The figure is the lowest in 6 months so far in 2025 and is below Nigeria's OPEC allocation of about 1.5 million barrels per day for the month, coming after Nigeria had showed signs of recovery in June and July, when output edged closer to the group's agreed quota following month of underperformance. Moving on, the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, has again placed its members on red alert following the decision by the Dangote Group to renege on earlier agreement brokered by federal government on Tuesday. The union, in a statement signed by William Oparahe and Afolabi Olawale, the president and general secretary, say it is placing all members on red alert for the resumption of the suspended nationwide industrial action. And this followed refusal by the Dangote Group to keep to the initial agreement reached on the unionization of the workers, calling on the Nigeria Labour Congress, Trade Union Congress, and all regional and global working people and the civil society organization to rise in support and solidarity against this threat of capitalist world. And still on, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission has recovered more than 10 billion naira between March to August 2025 for aggrieved consumers as banking and fintech sectors dominate consumer complaint. According to the Commission, the data, which examined consumer dissatisfaction across 30 sectors, cover consumer grievances ranging from unfair charges, service failure, unauthorized deduction, deceptive marketing, poor disclosure of terms, product defect, and failure to provide redress within acceptable timeliness. In the 6 months to August, the banking sector reportedly accounted for 3,173 complaints, followed by fast-moving consumer goods at 1,543, fintech at 1,442, and electricity at 458. And so in the news, the African Development Bank has announced that the African continent currently needs about $811.1 billion per annum in financing to achieve transformative economic growth. The Director General, Nigeria Country Department at AFDB, Abdul Kamara, revealed this on Thursday at the 2025 Nigerian Economic Society Conference held in Abuja. According to Karama, driving transformative growth will require significant investment in 4 key sectors, including infrastructure, energy access, education and technology, and innovation, especially in soft skills and capacity development. The DG added that for transition states in Africa to achieve structural transformation, they would require about $210 billion per annum, with a financing gap of $188.1 billion. And still to come after the break, navigating post-oil diversification and SME resilience. To stay with us.
insurance. After God, you are the next insurance. See as the boys the Allah. All the ladies the Allah. Ensure your car protection from accidents. Unforeseen loss, you can see them. Mistakes are meant to happen. If you don't jam the car, they'll jam yours. Will you beat them? Ah yes, you will get them arrested. Your plans for that day is affected. You waste your money, you waste energy. You tax how you can be protected.
Get the protection that pays today. Call 0700 AXA Mansa to get a motor insurance that pays.
Stanbic IBTC, we are here to help you grow with financing that helps you expand expert knowledge across 20 African markets, trade solutions that open doors to 195 countries globally, and an online banking platform that works hard because with us, there's possible, then there's more. Visit www.stanbicibtcbank.com/business for more. Stanbic IBTC.
All right, you're welcome back to the Business Morning. Let's begin with our first conversation for this morning. Around the world, businesses are waking up to a new kind of intelligence, one that doesn't just rely on algorithms and data, but also on imagination, storytelling, and design. It's what some are calling creative intelligence, the space where art meets artificial intelligence to create innovation that is not only powerful, but also human-centered. Think about it. AI can crunch numbers, automate tasks, and predict outcomes, but it's creativity that shapes how we experience products, services, and even entire industries. Together, they're driving breakthroughs in sectors from healthcare and education to agriculture, fintech, and the creative economy itself. For Africa, this conversation is particularly important. We're a continent rich in creative talent, from design to music to storytelling, and at the same time, we're rapidly building our digital and tech ecosystem. The intersection of these two worlds could unlock solutions that are not only globally competitive, but also deeply rooted in our realities. Joining us this morning is someone who embodies this intersection. Daniel Aremu is a multidisciplinary creative professional, robotics enthusiast, and AI learner. His journey cut across creative design, robotics, and machine learning, and he has applied his skill in industries ranging from branding and education to agriculture and technology. He's here to help us unpack how businesses can leverage this blend of art and AI to innovate, scale, and lead in a changing world. Good morning, Daniel Aremu. Thank you for coming on Business Morning.
Good morning, yeah. Good morning, everyone.
All right, so let's just go straight into it. When we talk about creative intelligence, what exactly does it mean, and why is it important in today's business environment?
All right, thank you. When it comes to creative intelligence, creative intelligence is the ability to process and use generative imaginations, cognitivity, to create solutions to all forms of problems. It is a very crucial skill to possess in our everyday life, as it will give us an advantage in finding solutions to every problem we have, especially in the future we are in and the one we are going to create. It is important in today's business. Its importance in today's business can't be overemphasized because it seems we've reached the pinnacle of solutions in our present day time. Two of the things in which creative intelligence, or two of the ways in which creative intelligence is very important are: number one, it drives innovation and progress in all aspects of business. And it is what changes companies' culture, sustains companies' innovation, and gives a clear direction into what an industry might face or become.
You started your career in creative design before moving into robotics and AI. So how has that journey shaped your perspective on the link between art and technology?
Thank you. The first thing I can say is that I saw connectivity when I delved into different fields. It's like seeing another aspect of life that is not detached from life itself in the form of a web, like spider web or anything web. I've gained a lot of different perspectives. For example, like iterating robots or any card design. That's computer-aided design. We use it to create our robots in which we want to design. So when we use the idea, I've integrated that idea into designing in graphics design. Well, and I've used it in different places, not in one, not in two. And also, I've been able to craft computer-aided designs. That means when it comes to designing robots or any form of design that requires that is card made, yes, from an I've iterate every aspect of life into that design, which makes it more unique than the normal look. Also, so from my perspective, I've been able to utilize this knowledge as a wisdom in every form of work I am meant to do without affecting each other. Hence, it has really advanced everything I do. And this is how most advanced countries do.
Let's shift our focus to the business impact now. Where do you see the strongest opportunities for creative intelligence in African businesses? Do you see it in agriculture? Do you see it in finance, retail, or the media?
Truthfully, I've seen different aspects in which creative intelligence have been applied. And I would say it can be applied in all aspects, especially in Africa, where we actually need a lot of people with creative intelligence. It just depends on which aspect an individual wants to make use of it, the creative intelligence, as it may be. Like for example, now, personally, I plan to use it in all forms of life I find myself. Every sector I decide to be in, currently, I use it in the creative and art field, as well as agriculture, and as well in robotics and media inclusive, because I'm part of it all. So I see no limitation in which aspects it can't be used. Also, it depends on the direction in which a community is going. Assuming Africa is actually going more into agriculture or media, it can be deployed there, it can be used there. So if one society needs solutions in agriculture, it really be utilized there without limitation at that moment.
So, still on the business impact, how do you think companies practically integrate creativity with AI to improve customers' experience and also product design and even their efficiency?
Thank you. Companies can use generative design to explore new product solutions. Like in agriculture, we can use it in designing productive analysis, which can improve resource management and crop yield enhancement. The integration of this generative AI enables more efficient, sustainable, and accessible farming practices by transforming complex agricultural data into understandable advice for farmers, localizing messages, and improving overall decision making. And other aspects in which generative AI and design can be used is in medicine. Okay, the generative design can be used to optimize cancer detection prediction, and that data can be used to create a probable solution which may take us normally 10 to 100 years to discover.
Some people actually worry that AI could replace human creativity because that's the worry around AI, taking people jobs and replacing everything that human beings would normally usually do. So, do you see AI as a threat to creativity, or do you see it as a tool to enhance it? That's to enhance human creativity.
This is a myth. This is a myth that in which people wants to believe to some extent. Yeah. But I wish it could be true, especially at this present moment, because AI has created more jobs than it could ever have been imagined, as well as it has deleted a lot of jobs. Let me use delete. Yes, like example now, the future of jobs projected this year that about 90 million jobs will be at risk by 2030, and about 170 million jobs will be created with the advancement of AI. So what I used to tell people is that as much as they are working currently in anything they are doing, probably integrating AI too, they should start positioning themselves by learning what those future job entails. So the future of creativity now would now require high intelligence. Hence, why every human needs to be creative, to be creatively intelligent, no matter what. This further shows that AI depends and we keep depending on human intelligence. The more reason we need to be creative in our intelligence so that we can make use of AI for the better and for proper advancement and innovation.
Now let's look at Africa itself. We all know that Africa is rich when it comes to creative talent, and
Yes,
they are
yes,
now
yes.
building its tech ecosystem, because tech everywhere you go now in Africa, especially West Africa, it's tech, tech, tech. So what unique
Yes.
advantages does the continent have in leading this creative intelligence revolution? Do you think they have it at all?
Yes, I believe we do have some advantages. Yes. Well, one of the unique advantages I can say is that our continent has one of the advantages we have in creative intelligence is the untapped intelligence potential in the continent, which is still hidden. Like we've not really touched it. Yes, one of the ways we can make this blossom is by first using this intelligence to create solutions in our cultural problems and generating innovations to evolutionize every aspect of our needs. Like, for example, now, in the creative field of Africa, especially in Nigeria, creative designers are going wide, weird, and crazy because they are tapping some unseen realms of creativity when they design. And I just get wild and I get marveled.
Like, can you share examples from your own projects, like your robotic works, where creativity and AI combine to create real solutions?
Yes, I can. Um, like now, I have a project currently that I've been working on. Yes, it's a weeding robot. And what type of weeding robots? We know weeding robots to be big. We've seen a lot of weeding robots in the world, like personally when I was doing my research. So I was actually looking into the reduction of yam production and the issues we are having currently. So now I now thought of it. What if you create a robot that can weed on a yam plantation farm, in which yam production requires different processes of weeding, which most big weeding robots can't afford to do that because they are big and yam spreads its leaf all over its hip. So now I now thought of it. What if you have a small robot that can actually go under those leaf and weed over time. And with this, we can actually increase the yield of yam production in Africa, it has drastically fall like within for the past 5 years to now.
That constructing a robot for this is not a walk in the park. It's not going to come easy. So for the small businesses with limited budget, how do you think they can start experimenting with this creative intelligence without huge investment?
Well, I can say everything actually starts with idea and trying to sacrifice to create at least a prototype. Create something that works. You may not really have the money to do everything at large, to go into large scale production, but create a prototype, even it can be small. Create a prototype, then possibly the person can actually see an investor when it comes to this. Thank you.
About Yam, your own how you've tried to use robotics into creating a solution. Let's take it to the healthcare and also not the healthcare. You know, people are used to humans doing things for them. Don't you think bringing AI and robotics into the healthcare is going to create some kind of distrust between patients and doctors? Because we're not just looking at the usual farming that has to do with labor. Let's look at the healthcare. Don't you
Yes,
think it's
yes,
going to
yes.
cause a kind of distrust between the patients and the doctors?
Well, I think one of the things we actually need to look at is to is to being educated about what robotics and AI do and how it can actually improve the well-being of every individual. I don't really think it can actually cause any much problem in a society that is well educated about this innovation, which is robotics and artificial intelligence. Like example, one of like example now, I know of a company in Abuja that is producing a robotic bra which is used for detecting breast cancer. This has actually make the work of the doctor easier as well, and as well as make the prediction better for the doctor to give an accurate result to the patient, and they can actually know early the type of cancer that might actually be there. Thank you.
Let's look at the future now, the future outlook for young professionals and businesses that are actually watching. What skill or mindset should they develop to thrive at this intersection of art and AI?
Okay, so I would say number one, we must be curious and ask questions relating to arts and artificial intelligence. We must be very curious. We must be ready to ask questions. We must be ready to receive answers. We must be ready to just delve into every aspect of art and artificial intelligence. How the two can be fused together to create something new or something better. I can also say we should be ready to learn and relearn and be involved in arts and think deeply about how AI can be used to advance art. So, number one, we have to be curious and ask questions. And number two, we have to be ready to learn and relearn and learn further. Thank you.
We keep talking about the people, but what role do you think the government should actually play in making all of this a success?
Yes, I can say I'm not affected too, because there are lots of advantages in the world, whereas in the local society where I'm in, it seems there are a lot of disadvantages. Um, One of the ways government can come in is actually by creating number one infrastructure, public infrastructure, by and also by creating probably opportunities, scholarships for people that are actually ready to put in the work to do this, and also by making it easier for people that are into it, that wants to invest in this, probably by subsidizing the investments, by subsidizing it for them, or by finding investors that are really ready and actually create budgeting funds for them to actually empower this in our current society.
Believe, Daniel Aremu, before I let you go, you believe that AI is the way to all our problems here in Nigeria. True or true?
I can't say it is the way, but it is a way.
This morning on the show, this morning, Daniel Aremu, really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, still to come, we have our second conversation, which is from content to commerce, building brands in Nigeria's creative economy after this break. Welcome back. You're still watching Business Morning on the Breakfast Show. Now let's move to our second conversation for today. We turn the spotlight on Nigeria's creative economy, a sector fast becoming one of the country's most dynamic engines of growth. From fashion to film, music to media, the creative industry is not just about art. It's about commerce, job creation, and digital innovation. At the heart of this transformation are content creators and digital entrepreneurs who are building strong personal brands, leveraging storytelling, and creating new business models that bridge creativity and commerce. Joining us to explore this theme is Modula Major. He is a multi-talented creative professional, content creator, filmmaker, educator, entrepreneur, and founder of Softwork by Major. Through his venture and training programs, he's helping brands and individuals turn creativity into sustainable business growth in Nigeria's evolving economy. We'll be discussing how content creation is driving e-commerce, the opportunities within Nigeria's creative economy, and what it takes to build a brand that not only tells a story, but also makes money. Good morning and welcome to the Business Morning Show, Major.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. So wonderful to be here today.
Good morning. All right. From the introduction, you obviously wear so many hats, and I'm talking content creation. You're an entrepreneur, a filmmaker, and also a trainer. So, how do you personally define the creative economy, and why is it so important for Nigeria today?
For the creative economy, it's a very important part of Nigeria economy, as we put in trade, bring in entertainment, to bring in creativity. It serves as a means of job creation. It serves as a means of cultural export, whereby we can take our culture, our person, and export it into different craft and showcase it to the whole world. It gives us a national branding, like it brands Nigeria as a country in the international world, and in Nigeria having so much of youthful population, it helps us enhance global influence with our craft, with what we do. It's a way we can stand out there and, in our own diversity, in our own dynamism, we can match up and we can put things forward. And also it's a form of job creation, it's a strategy for growth and for a means to make ends meet.
Is from content to commerce. In your experiences, what are the key steps for transforming great content into a profitable brand? I beg your pardon.
When content creation and creativity becomes commerce, it helps to solve problem. At the same time, it's a source of fund. So one thing how to make that work, how to convert your content into commerce is building trust. When you are consistent with what you do, they know you keep showing up. And each time you're always coming in with dynamism and putting in the best. Now it will build your trust, and your audience will know you. Being a content creator, you have to identify your audience, to know who you are targeting with your content. And now, once you're consistent with it and keep showing up, they will know you, your audience will know you, and you tell your story well, and you're creative about it. So it's not just the norms, it is you bringing something different from the norms. And once your value is clear, people will follow, and profit will follow at the same time.
You're a good example, the Softwork by Major brand. So how do you merge creativity with entrepreneurship in the fashion and lifestyle space? How do you merge the both together?
Yeah, for me, I would say fashion is telling a story with what you wear. It's like you have something that you want to push out, and you're pushing out in form of what you wear. So when people see you, it make a statement like, oh, this is good. I like this design, It's making it stylish and solving the problem of comfortability and durability. When you wear it, it's comfortable and it's durable. It meets the standard. There's something about quality that cannot be contested anywhere. So once your work has the quality, everybody knows about. Like if anybody sees quality, they would know. So that is what people go for most times. Then business discipline, branding, the pricing, the customer experience, everything comes in. It's like creativity and sustainability at the same time. So that is how I'm able to merge being the brand owner of Softwork by Major together with fashion and creativity.
Okay, so we both know that many Nigerian youths are entering the creativity industry. So what common mistakes do you see them make when trying to turn their creativity into business?
Now about that, one of the mistakes I would say is people taking creativity as just an hobby, not putting in so much to it to make it a business. Now, hobby is just something you like to do and you just do it. Now, making it a business is how you put in your creativity and a lot of economical ideas into it. Finding a leverage to monetize it, to put in a structure, a pricing strategy, the packaging, the financial planning, the clear audience. Now, about being an hobby, sometimes it can just come with passion, but passion is great sometimes, but without a system, it just burns out. So there's a need to take it from just being an hobby, just taking it from just being what you like to do into putting a structure to it, well aligned. This it does this, makes this intentionally about it, being intentional about it and putting in a structure that really helps instead of just creating content and just posting. There's a need for a structure to really make the best out of it.
Speaking about content creation, you also train entrepreneurs on content creation and social media strategy. So, what do you consider the most essential skills for building a strong digital presence in today's market?
So now for it to be very strong and profound, I take it as three things. I call it CSA. That is consistency, storytelling, and adaptability. Now, consistency builds trust. It is when you keep showing up and they know no matter how this person is always posting, this person is consistent. So businesses and business owner investors will be able to trust you like this is not just a one-time thing. This is something this person is consistent with. So trust is built in that way. Now the storytelling is building a connection. Just your creativity act have to connect with people. You have to build it. It builds connection when people can see themselves in it. When it's relating and people can be like, that is me. Oh, I can relate to that. That is what a good storytelling does. So you'll be able to connect with them to make a certain decision, to make an action. You know, your story must connect with your city, the action you want people to take with it. So once you have a good storytelling, you are good. Then adaptability. Now we are in a fast-changing digital world that what is trending today might not be trending tomorrow. Now your adaptability to adapt into what is trending, what is going on, what is in vogue, will keep your relevance. Now, still deeply rooted in what you do, in what you stand for, but at the same time, having a way to make it change and adapt into what is in vogue, into what is relevant. So those three things, consistency, storytelling, and adaptability, are the three most important needs, essential skills you need to build a strong digital presence into this market.
Okay, now you mentioned that the creative economy actually thrives on storytelling. That's one of the criteria you mentioned. So, what do you think makes a story not only engaging but also commercially viable? Because we want to sell, it's business. So, what do you think will make it more engaging and we can also, commercially sell it?
Storytelling becomes more commercially viable when it connects emotionally and offers value. Now, I'll explain that as women generally are emotional beings. We have emotions, we have thinking, we have feelings. Now, your story must be able to connect to their feelings. They can be an idea, maybe a business owner comes like, this is the idea I want to push out. Now, it is in the part of a creative to bring that idea, to have a story attached to it that connects with the idea and can bring it to people. So when the people see themselves in it, they will be inspired to take action. Whether it is buying, whether it is subscribing, it is supporting, maybe it is referring or making an action about it. It has to connect. Now they say that your story must connect before it brings in the productivity. So working on the storytelling part, making sure there's a part of it or there's a huge amount of it, a larger percentage of it is to connect with the people first. Then before you bring the city, okay, after I've connected with you with this story, this is the next thing I want you to do. It is the most viable way a storytelling can be commercially acceptable and it can make more fun, more flow, more enhancement in the world. Thank you.
We know that collaboration is becoming a trend. Creatives are working with brands, tech companies, and even across borders. So, how important is collaboration in scaling creative businesses?
There is an adage that says a tree does not make a forest. So as much as being in the creative industry, there are many ways people can go from it, and standing alone can be a little bit tedious to go. So collaboration is a new currency for growth. If growth is important, then collaboration is important, because this person bring a sector, this person bring a structure, this person bring a pin, this person brings something, and we bring it together, it forms a whole big picture. So alone you can be talented, but together with people you can be global. Partnership opens new markets, new audience, my audience with your audience, my follower with your followers, everybody comes together, it's huge. So it is one person gaining from the impact of many, and each person in that collaboration is still gaining from the impact of everyone. So it's like making it count and give you opportunity for access. You access a lot of field, a lot of grounds, and it reduces the costs to make that happen. It reduces the effort. There is division of labor. There is shared efforts, and it does not come so big on you. And at the same time, the impact it brings is bigger. So collaboration is very important with brands, with tech companies, with everyone. As much as you can bring them in, most people this time now they are pitching for collaboration, because it makes you get to your point, make you get to your aim on time. The longer before for one person to make it happen, it takes longer. But now with collaboration, it's like bringing so much of effort together. A lot of strength, a lot of opportunities, a lot of views. So collaboration is very, very important. It's becoming a trend because it has been working, and it will still continue to work.
Okay, now let's talk about funding. Funding remains a challenge, especially in the creative industry. So from your experience, what practical ways can creatives monetize their skills even without big investors?
There is always a saying that think big and start small. So for someone just testing the water, starting out, it may not be big yet, but that should not be like a discouragement. So as much as a personality being a creative, you have to start with the resources you have with you at the time. You start small, find a way to monetize your knowledge using the digital tools. AI is always helping, teach people workshop, impact people, because as much as you're impacting people, you're getting something in return. At the same time, you're building people that at the end of the day, we have the connections to build you, people you eventually collaborate with at the end of the day. It's like what goes around comes around. You give out value, at the same time, you're getting values. And the same thing, say digital products, it's also help. Then offer services online. Now, about a part of business that is very important is packaging. It is how you show up. When you show up in a very good way, people will attach more value to it. For example, you are selling a product, and the package you give to it alone is already befitting. Now, the value you give to it, people will be able to resonate with you in that same direction. So as small as it is, package as well. If it's a digital service, it is a service you're rendering, get a portfolio, get a rate card, get a good branding. Just make sure you look good in appearance. Investor will come later, but first, investor has to see your creativity, you have to see the work you've put in, you have to see how much effort and funds you are able to risk into that your creativity, into that your big idea in the first instance before they come and bring theirs. So that is where preparation meets opportunities. So start small, put out, appear as much as big as you can, but at the same time, do not falsify your identity, do not appear the way you are not. But then as much as the person is ready to bring out, just make sure it's very presentable. And with that, it's a good way to eat the ground.
Speaking about the people who want to like go into content creation, but what role do you think the government has to play also for all of this to fall in line?
A part of creativity has to do with the government help, and a larger part of it does not really require that. Now,
Okay, Major was trying to tell us how the role of government plays in all of this, and before that, he was supposed to tell us
much
beyond
more
profit.
easier, because when everything is working very fine,
Major,
when
we
everything is
lost
working
you. We
fine,
lost you for a moment, please. Can you retrace? Right. I think we lost him again. So he was going to tell us
all
about
right.
okay. If you can hear me, please
So,
retrace the conversation about the government's role to play when it comes to content creation in Nigeria.
yeah, so the roles government have to play is it is 70% dependent on the creative and 30% on the government in terms of creativity directly. But now in a general ground, it boils down to if the government put in the structures and everything, the infrastructure in the right way, then creativity will thrive. Now, how do I bring that in? The businesses that you're going to be contacting, the people you're going to be pushing out things for, the resources you're going to be needing, the power, the road movement, the safety, if those things are going very fine, if they are balanced, creativity will thrive. And now the opportunities that are viable there are also when there are projects, when there are grants, and there are need for things to come up. For example, there are grants given to business owners, people who start business. Now, there can also be something faction for creatives that want to stand out, that and have a good portfolio, a good work to show ahead, to show that this is what I do and I do it very well. There can be grant for that. There can be government raise, to help, and policies that helps against maybe copyrights, how your content can stay your content without being pirated and all of that. So those are the ways government can come in. But basically, if the government sectors and agencies are working very well the way it should work, then creativity will thrive in the economy as much as it should.
All right, so let's shift our focus away from profit. You're also very passionate about cultural heritage and Black history. So how can creatives strike a balance between preserving culture and staying commercially competitive?
So there was a question I raised on a discussion some time ago, and the question was, what if Nigeria was not colonized? What would be the stance at which we have now? What would be our ways to life? What would be our definition of civilization? Will it be the Western civilization, or it will be a Nigerian dominated kind of civilization? Now, the answer to that question may be vague, may not be very, very, it may look abstract. Now, it is making our creativity tend to it. It's blending innovation with heritage. For example, using traditional fabrics, traditional storytelling mixed with the modern storytelling, modern fashion, and retelling history through films and digital platforms. Now, we have an idea of what Nigerian history and stories, a traditional story looks like. Infusing the technology into it. For example, I'm telling the folk tales maybe about Ujakwa or something, and I'm making it into a cartoon that fits in the standard of Nickelodeon or Cocomelon. It is building a Nigerian heritage together with what technology stands out and bringing it to the outside world. So it is retelling a story on digital platform. It is like, it makes our culture becomes timeless when it is reimagined for today's audience. Now it brings in like what we've known over time, what Nigeria issue has turned out to be, and we're telling it using the technology we have around, the AI, the different means at which we can make this work. Now, bringing in the Black history and our cultural heritage into creativity and striking a balance between it is using what technology is today, together with what we have known about our culture, about our heritage, about our history, bringing it together. We can't stay to what it was because the world has moved past that in terms of technology. So it is how to use technology to enhance it without forgetting what it stands for. So that is my take on that.
Okay, so finally, before I let you go, where do you see the biggest opportunities for Nigeria's creative economy in the next 5 to 10 years, and how can young creatives position themselves to benefit from it?
All right. In terms of creativity, the biggest opportunity lies in the digital media. It lies in fashion, it lies in music, it lies in art, it lies in poetry, it lies in tech-driven storytelling, because that is where the world is going to. That's the area the world is expanding to. Innovations are rising towards that side. Let's say the sun is rising and shining towards that side. So it is better to stay on the winning side. Now, bringing your creativity, storytelling, your whole ideas, and infusing it into where the world is going, it works well. Now, young creative must build skills, embrace collaborations, and think globally while staying rooted in Nigeria's identity, while staying rooted in Africa's identity. Because let's say the Western world have their ways already. So why do you have to just go directly in their ways? Why don't we bring our own identity into it? That is the way we make dynamism and we stand out. That's how we make a difference, not going with the norms. Because westernization is everywhere, but then staying deeply rooted. I think an example is like this China economy that shuts the door against every other interference and build their own economy before opening it and reaching us now. Now, maybe we are not there in our economic strategy, in our economic strength in Nigeria yet. We're not talking about creativity. It is dominant on the creatives and how we can make it work. Our storytelling, now staying deeply rooted in Nigerian and African identity and flowing towards where innovation is flowing. Now, that helps you to position yourself for leading. It brings in a lot of preparation when the opportunity comes. And now the opportunity I'm talking about is not far-fetched. A while ago, I saw a video of Bill Gates working with MI in terms of music and saying he wants to make something about African in music. Now, investors idea coming. Nigerian and African market is a viable one for businesses. A lot of investors are coming. We have the population, we have the economy that can take in so much, and a lot of innovations that looks new to us. At the same time, maybe has been popular somewhere else, but when you bring it to Nigeria, it's somehow new because we are a developing country. So a lot of innovation can thrive here on this land. Now investors are coming. It is no more in news. They are bringing in their advices, bringing in their business and opportunities. Now, creatives are people that are going to be reaching out to because they need to push these things out to the world. Let's talking about social media. So when you are doing your creative, be very, very, very passionate about it.
All right. Thank you so much, Modula Major, for your insights on Business Money this morning. It was good to have you on the show.
Right. Thank you for having me. It's nice to be here.
All right, that's been our focus on today on Business Morning. I am Deborah Ezeh. Thank you for watching, and do stay with us as the breakfast show continues with a big story with Destiny Momo after the short break. Have a good morning.